Tourism is jeopardizing Japan's famous Mount Fuji. Crowds of visitors are leaving behind piles of garbage, and authorities are now wondering how to protect this sacred mountain. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, long lines, overflowing trash cans, and ruined toilets create a picture that no one expected to see. In a country that is known for its cleanliness and order, all the more so on Mount Fuji, which has special significance for the Japanese and is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The problems started when Japan reopened its borders after the coronavirus pandemic, and foreign visitors have been streaming in. Many of them want to visit Mount Fuji, and of course this is welcomed. However, this influx of visitors has put excessive strain on infrastructure, including garbage disposal and toilet management, and the situation has become critical. Mount Fuji was placed on the UNESCO list 10 years ago, at which time Japan was also urged to limit the number of visitors. However, it seems that the UNESCO status has only increased the popularity of the mountain. Each year, the number of tourists continues to grow. This year, the largest station at the foot of the mountain was visited by about 4 million guests, twice as many as 10 years ago. Authorities report that they are ready to take drastic measures. One of the main problems is accessibility to the fifth station on Mt. Fuji by car. This means that this route needs to be more strictly controlled. However, the super road to Yamanashi is difficult to regulate and may need to be replaced by a mountain railroad. There has also been a trend among tourists to greet the dawn on Mount Fuji, which often triggers calls to rescuers. This year alone, 60 such incidents have been reported. The government fears that if no action is taken, tourists will become disillusioned with the destination and stop visiting Japan's most famous mountain. Mexico produces a substance that can safely be called the rarest in the world. We are talking about a natural dye of rich red color, which is made from insects. This substance is of special importance, as its extraction is limited to hundreds of kilograms per year. This amazing technology was already known in Mexico more than 500 years ago, when the Spanish conquered the territory and considered this dye almost as valuable as gold and silver. Even before the Spaniards arrived, Mexican ancestors collected insects known as cachanilla. These insects are parasites of cacti and feed on their juices, making them rich in carminic acid. The Mixtec, a pre-Columbian people living in the present-day Mexican state of Oaxaca, developed a method of obtaining this precious pigment centuries before the arrival of the Spanish. The carmine red color was a status symbol for indigenous peoples. They used this dye to color the clothing of nobles, decorate pottery, paint murals, and write documents. The production of this dye is a complex and painstaking process that is expensive, both in terms of labor and cost. However, the family of Moyoli Garcia believes that preserving this craft and cultural heritage is important. If they stop producing it, there will be even fewer producers of this dye. Carmine dyes are made from ground-up tiny female insects containing carminic acid. The insects are placed on cacti and left there for several months until they mature. The larvae are then harvested by hand, usually with small brushes, and left to dry in the sun. Moyoli Garcia's family is one of the few who continue to produce this dye the old-fashioned way. They use it to dye carpets and fabrics. Today, more and more people are realizing the importance of preserving cultural heritage and the value of natural dyes. So the family has not stopped. Their family enterprise produces about 100 kilograms of this dye per year. Germany remains one of the leaders in the development of a working model of an airplane using hydrogen fuel cells. The first manned flight of such an aircraft took place in 2009. And last year, the aircraft reached an altitude of more than 2,000 meters for the first time in its class. It recently made the world's first public flight using liquid hydrogen. This electric airplane is rated as very quiet and vibration-free, which emphasizes its efficiency. The developers believe that the future of aviation lies in the use of hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen can be produced using solar and wind energy, and it also increases range compared to gaseous hydrogen. For example, a plane can fly 725 kilometers on gaseous hydrogen, while liquid hydrogen can fly over 1,500 kilometers, allowing for long flights such as from Paris to Lisbon. Aviation, as part of global industry, contributes more than 2% of global CO2 emissions, and switching to hydrogen engines could help the industry reach zero emissions by 2050. However, the transition to hydrogen engines poses challenges for airlines. They will have to redesign airplanes to accommodate larger and heavier hydrogen tanks, as well as adapt airport infrastructure. German company H2Fly is moving forward in this direction. Next year, they plan to build a 40-seat aircraft capable of flying more than 400 kilometers and establish a hydrogen aviation center at Stuttgart Airport. Despite the challenges and complexities, the developers are confident in the prospects of hydrogen aviation and continue to move forward in their pursuit of greener aviation. Montenegro has an unusual competition that every year determines who is the laziest person in the country. Participants in this competition must lie in a horizontal position for as long as possible, and the winner will receive the title of the laziest person in Montenegro, as well as a cash prize of 1,000 euros. 7 contestants are not just lying down, but fighting for this unusual title. The competition takes place in the village of Brunke and is already held for the 12th time. The organizers of this competition see it as a parody, and they aim to break the stereotype that Montenegrins are lazy. This competition has become popular and has gathered many participants. According to the rules of the competition, participants must be in a horizontal position and can use cell phones, laptops, and read books. Semi-sitting is prohibited, and every 8 hours participants are given a 10-minute restroom break. The previous record was 117 hours of lying down, and this year's remaining participants have already more than doubled that record by lying down for 15 days. The current participant, Dubravka, broke the previous record and has been lying down for 38 days. The participants of the competition expressed their good mood and joy of participation. The organizers have provided them with everything they need, and they feel great. This year, the competitors have settled under a wooden canopy due to inclement weather. The competition brings fun and positive mood to participants and spectators, and the winner will receive the title of the laziest person in Montenegro and a nice cash prize. The story of a woman named Guan Yu from China causes surprise and indignation. For 3 years, she got a job in 16 companies and never showed up at her workplace. And all this time, she received a salary. She managed to earn about 50 million yuan, which is equivalent to about $6 million. In order not to get confused by her own false stories, Guan Yu kept a journal in which she recorded information about each of her positions. However, her deception came to light last fall when the head of one of the companies decided to cut an inefficient department of managers, which included a fraudster. Suspecting something wrong, the manager went to the police and told them about the scam.